States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Please make sure your phones and pagers and other devices are on silent. Item number 1, do we have any citizen concerns not already on the agenda? Hearing none, I move approval of today's agenda.
Second.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Taylor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Items 3 through 7 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate...
Could we have clarification? Did you say 4-0?
Yeah, we didn't get a vote on the other guy. Sure.
Matthew, are you there?
We lost him, huh?
Okay.
Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 3, approval of the minutes of the December 4, 2018 meeting. Item 4, approval of claims. 5, receive Commission of Veterans Affairs quarterly report. Item 6, A, approval of memorandum of personnel transactions. Approval of request to deauthorize county position. Authorization to initiate hiring process. Approval of the chairman to sign the Delta Dental 2019 renewal. Item 7 is county auditor. Consideration and approval of a liquor license for the Lofted View event. I will move approval of consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Radig. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Your call, Mr. Auditor.
No, if he comes back, he can request that you folks add him to the positive side.
Regular agenda item 8, County Auditor, approve and receive for signature the Great Land Services Agreement for 2016 Affordable Care Act, also known as ACA reporting. Mr. Gill or designate?
The designee.
Supervisor Ron, can you hear me?
Ken, now, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I was able to hear you, but you couldn't hear me. I'd request that I vote on the last 2 items.
We can just barely hear you, but...
He did request, if there is no objection, he will be recorded as an aye vote on the previous 2 motions.
I do not object.
Thank you.
So what I have for you today is a request to approve a contract with Great Land Services, and this is needed so we can file our 2016 ACA forms electronically. We did mail the forms to our employees for the year 2016, but we had staff transition. I was new to the position, and they did not get reported electronically to the IRS. So we're required to do that, and our current software is not compatible to report in the 2016 formats. So we've looked for a company. This is the company that the city of Sioux City uses to file their forms every year. They've been using it since filing started in 2015. So I'll just request approval of this agreement.
I'll move it. Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Taylor. Any questions for Ms. Scaff?
That's Dr.
I'm sorry?
Dr. Scaff.
Dr. Scaff? Sorry.
It's okay.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Hello?
Yeah, we got it. 6 to 0.
You're good. Matthew, 6, 7, counting. We're good.
I apologize, I'm in Honduras.
He said he's going through a tunnel.
Doc?
You're welcome, doctor.
Item 9, juvenile detention. Approval to proceed and enter into a contract for bed space with the Flandreau Santee Sioux Tribe of South Dakota. Mr. Weber.
Glad you told me how to pronounce that before I got it. About a year ago, I came up here with a contract with Macy. You guys passed it through. I told you I had another one in the works for another tribe up in South Dakota. This is that one. Seems like a good deal. It's coming to fruition now. The only difference on it is I increased the rate back again to $150. So I need your approval to move forward with the rate to where it used to be instead of the.
And they're good with the rate. They're good with
Yeah,
the rate.
yeah.
Okay.
And I saw a little bit of your email traffic, Ryan. The changes were, Joshua suggested were copacetic with their representatives?
Yeah, they didn't care.
Okay, all right, great.
I imagine that's something they throw into all their contracts.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Taylor. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mr.
Is there any chance we get an estimate of how many people are coming in? Because for the other contract we have, our revenue has been going down. And when Ryan gave his estimate, he's about 200,000 less than the current year. So are we gonna be able to make this up with this contract? Or do we have any estimate? Are we gonna have 1 a month, 2 a month, or do we have any idea?
They told me typically they send out, 1 or 2 kids a month. I don't think it's a large
Okay, it's not
sum of kids,
big,
so.
but whatever revenue we can get, it'd be good because we're gonna be short this year for next year's budget.
Right now, I have 4 months billed of 35,000.
I think it went from 600 to 400. That includes the grant too, that Ryan gets back from the state. But still a lot less than what we're budgeting this current year. Because the contract we have is not meeting 8.5 people, what, a day or a week? That they said they were gonna do, and they haven't fulfilled that at all. Am I right on that, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know what they told you guys beforehand. I just know what they tell me now. But the difference is that BIA and Omaha Nation Tribe were going back and forth over who's going to pay what. Now they're basically paying their own thing, and Omaha Tribe took up a majority of the kids there, and BIA was paying for it. Now they're doing their own kids, but they've been sending us the same amount of kids that they had before. It's just not it's coming from BIA because it's coming strictly from Omaha Nation now because they're footing their own bill. So I believe we've only had 1 month when the transition made it over that they didn't really send us anybody, but I think this past month they've made up a few. I just don't imagine the stays are going to be as long as they used to be because, again, they're footing their own bill where the federal government footed it before. So long term, I can't tell you what they're going to do. But thanks.
We voted on that, didn't we? We're done with that? All right. Item 10, Human Resources, approval of MOU regarding overtime and compensatory payout.
Melissa Thomas, Human Resources. This is an MOU regarding payout for juvenile detention. It is twice a year, and they want to carry over 40 hours per payout period. So that is what this MOU is regarding. And the next payout is coming up in January, so we wanted to get it signed.
This isn't anything new?
No.
Okay. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Taylor. Any further questions for Melissa? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 11, Board Administration, approval of Sioux City Symphony use of the courthouse rotunda.
Okay, I've included the memo that Kenny sent down, and kind of in that second paragraph identifies when they want to use the courthouse, but I suggest anytime somebody wants to use the rotunda lobby after hours, they get approved by the full board. So this is the only one we have on hand right now at this point.
I'll move it.
And they will reimburse us for
Second.
security costs or any other costs we incur.
But I do have a question, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
That gap in between when they're at the orphan, are they going to keep our security people on duty for that? Or are they going to pay them for 3 hours and then send them home and then have them come back for 2 hours?
I don't know if that runs an issue with.
Well, it
they have to
probably-
be here so much.
I'd almost say that it's unlikely that we'll lock the building up because they're going to have some of it opened up with that generator in the back.
I'd say they have to be here all the time.
They'll probably run that through the window, I would guess, but yeah,
I-
they'll still be open.
I don't,
I just want to make sure they know that they're going to be paying those two guys
they do
from
know that.
4 to 11, not just 4 to 7
Right.
and then 9 to 11.
No, because they will have the courthouse open because they'll be setting up for the, cleaning out the dining part of it and setting up the party side.
Oh, okay.
So, yep.
Any further questions? All those,
Did you get a second?
yes, sir.
Okay, good.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item 12, reports on committee meetings. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So we have a Rolling Hills meeting tomorrow and have had good conversations along the way in which they're going to look at several different scenarios for the inclusion of Woodbury County in their regional governance budget. You will see some of those backup materials that have come out. One has all core plus or non-core funding requests included, including the school district's requests for $777,000, including Schessler Hall and ARC and Sanford Center, all of those, and shows what that would be. Then there's another scenario with no non-core funding. Then there's one that has some modified versions of funding a percentage of that during this transitional period. So we'll look at that tomorrow during their meeting, as well as different portions of the MOU that we may need to look at further. And so look forward to a good meeting tomorrow and continue to be appreciative of the process and some of their supervisors who spent quite a bit of time with our providers this way. So that's my update, pending any questions.
Anything to add, Mr. Butler?
Nope, they covered it pretty well. Just be a good discussion tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think they make final decisions at the end of the month. I believe on 27th.
Right, December 27th. What we'd like to do is to have a good budget target by that time. One of the things that, one other thing is they're looking at some of the new mandates per legislation on core services. And so we're looking at, what they've put in approximately $300,000 into core services. I suggested that on parity right now on a per capita population basis, that'd be about $323,000 in our county in comparison to the population that they have. And so we will need to look to what the legislature has mandated, that we stand up in these new core services. And so that'll be something to keep an eye on. Access centers, mobile crisis, and so on. So.
Thank you. Mr. Podbomber Radig?
I had the Tri-State Legislative Forum last week with a lot of our local elected officials as well. That was a good discussion. That was through Simcoe on housing and what the other states have been doing. We had a speaker from Omaha that is running a land bank. It's a nonprofit group that basically works with, in that case, it works in Omaha to infill inner city lots or to basically acquire condemned housing or rough housing and then put it back on the market for sale. And there was another speaker from South Dakota kind of discussing the governor's housing initiative out there where the prisoners will make homes. And North Sioux has quite a few that have gone in. And then there's a speaker from Iowa talking about how he's trying to initiate that same kind of program here in Iowa. There were some questions in the legislature last year about that program because they didn't want builders to feel like it was competition, that the state's competing. But actually a lot of the home builders associations were in favor of it because it's building the smaller houses that they don't want to build. And it's also training prisoners a skill so that when they get out, they might have a better workforce available. So it was a really good and productive event.
All right.
Marty? I need to wait for citizen concerns, please. Item 13, citizen concerns, round 2. Hearing none, board concerns. Mr. Gill, or Karen, did we decide on Wednesday the 26th at 9 o'clock for one or two items, the claims and something else we got to do? So that's going to be going forward till 9 a.m. on Wednesday the 26th for the board meeting. Okay. Mr. Taylor.
I'm through one evaluation, and we're still working on the second and third evaluation, so Kenny Schmitz should be hitting your mail tills. I've asked Melissa, if it's okay with everybody, to help us to simplify the evaluation process. That's 16 pages and 6 different parts, and I feel like it's a colonoscopy of an evaluation, to be honest with you, because I just went through this with Kenny, and we've spent a couple hours, quality hours together, and I think it's very good. But I like the idea of the future goals and the past goals and maybe a 2-page thing otherwise. But there's a lot of redundancy in a lot of pages, and it takes quite a bit of time, which is good. But some of it, I think, can be streamlined. So we're looking to your professional expertise going forward, please. And thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Gill.
Just a second. You said we have some contract that is up next year, and who's that with?
The deputies.
And for how long a term is that?
We haven't negotiated that yet.
Okay. I just was asking the board to consider, I don't know, but you said next year there are a lot more contracts are up at
2020, so the negotiation would be next fall.
Okay. I'm just going to ask the board to consider, we have done this in the past under Chapter 20. You can meet with when we're talking about negotiating, is that you can meet with the other elected officials to talk about what is going to be considered during those contract talks. And because it does have an impact on our management ability, and so I would just ask that before those talks, maybe next year, is that we have a meeting with the elected officials and the board to talk about things that, issues that may come up during those contract negotiations.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other board concerns? Sir.
I just have one thing, a reminder, because it happens before next week's board meeting, we have our Christmas holiday luncheon. Mm-hmm. So just to remind everybody, it is next week, because it happens before the board meeting. So
Is that 11:30?
11:30. And I believe they serve everything. Who serve it? No, I don't think board members have to do anything. It's like a buffet set up, and you just go and help yourself, I believe.
Do we serve?
They do serve?
Well, we got a no and a yes, and somebody shaking their head back there, so.
I thought they wanted. That's fine.
I'm going to say Karen's a little more knowledgeable on this one.
I think a lot more.
I'll buy that.
I don't think I've missed one yet. Any other board concerns? Tuesday at 11:30 is the employee holiday Christmas luncheon, okay, down here.
It's paid for by the budget analyst?
Yeah, I'll take
All
care
right,
of it.
thank you.
I think that's what we're going to use the Jake Brick money for.
We better cancel that.
We are adjourned before this gets out of control.